Dummy Switch Pod.
Yes, sir.
Back again. How are you, Chris?
Now, very well, thanks. How you call us?
Good myself. We know the Lions Friday night. We got that W, man. We got that W.
Man.
Let's jump
They turned
straight
it on.
in. Yeah, my team. I'm a proud man right now. We've turned that corner, and we've
rightly so.
The issues. The air is smelling sweeter. The water is tasting better. It's almost like it's a new place, a new club. The way that they've turned around. It's not the same. They don't even look like the same players.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you should be proud. I think, geez, the way they really turned it on. And it's more the way that they played. In the beginning, early on, they held on nicely defensively, and then when they got the ball in their hands, they managed to construct very good tries. And identify the mismatches. Find the gaps. The 2-on-1s. Look, all around, and I think again defensively, you have to give. That's where the foundation of their performance was based defensively, and talking about. Defensively, I think Burger Odendaal as the captain, he's always been a good player. He's done it for the Lions before, done it for the Bulls,
But the thing is, this is the thing, we've never, since he's come to the Lions, we've never seen form like he is now, which is unfortunate because his departure is already confirmed. But it's like, this was the player that we were expecting.
Yeah. And then it took a bit of time, more than what we expected for him to get going. But, geez, underrated. But then again, overall as a team, I think they really did play well. That was really a team performance, and everybody put their hands up. And, well done to the Lions, honestly. And we did say this a couple of episodes ago. It looked like, against Munster, we were saying, they've turned the corner, and it looks like they have. It really looks like they have, and it looks like they're starting to find that balance and confidence as well. Although you still want to see some a bit more experienced guys coming through, because there will be tougher games coming up, but for them, for their confidence, and it'll do them well. The coach will breathe easier now, at altitude. The lungs won't be as heavy, like you say. It's the air is different. So yeah, I think that allows him to to at least keep people like us that are calling for his head at bay for now. Still, just got to back it up.
For now, I mean, if we dig a bit deeper, Rabs is back on the wing in the URC. You talk about balance. They shifted things in the loose trio. Horn was at 6, who we've only seen play at 8. They gave Chituka 7 jersey, and they gave Chituka 8 jersey. And those two, they really seem to get us going. Manu Chituka, the younger one, he's almost like the heart of the team, and he's only been there, starting for, he's the one giving us that pulse. Yeah, he's the one lifting up the energy. So I mean, they were dangerous, like you say, getting those passes going, the offloads, even seeing props getting the offloads and the tackles, and the confidence just went for there. Even in terms of confidence, Kewan Horn, from fullback, you can see he's even entering the line more than he was in the previous games. So I mean, guys are developing. It's moving along. Hendricks as well continues to impress.
And look here, I read an article, where Burger Odendaal, he was crediting the coaches, the influence of Jock Fourie, and you can see that from a defensive point of view. We're starting to see that. I think a couple of weeks ago, we started to see the building blocks of that. And again, defensive systems, it does take time, and it looks like it's coming together for them. You also mentioned Ricardo Lobshaw was, I think a very well experienced coach. He coached the Bulls. He was a Bulls backline coach. When the Bulls were at their prime with the banner and those guys.
I still think that guy's a fraud, though. I still think he's a fraud, but
But look, you mentioned Kieran Horn. He's got the backline moving. He's got all the players, in motion. and they're contributing. Even though, for example, I think like Simelane just, I think he finds himself in a very awkward place, because it's fine. He gets moved to the wing. He still does the business. He's a quality player, but he just doesn't look settled. And settled enough to allow him to sort of keep on growing his game and his play. But you have to give these players credit for actually taking the responsibility and going out there and doing the job. As much as the coaches put the building blocks in place, it's up to them to do it. And your boys, they did it, man. For me, easily the best game of the weekend. Look, I'm never this excited about any other team, but geez, I was excited with the way the Lions played on Friday, especially the way the tries were constructed. That one where Berger made that break, it was, play the pod, and then they play the pod, passed it on to another prop forward, play the beyond the back pass, getting them into space, Drea, doing the business scrum time, and also in Birkenfield, and you could just see them growing as the game went on, beautiful to see.
Yeah, shout out for Edolf van der Merwe scoring again, taking his man on the outside. Ras as well. Ras has found it a bit difficult. I mean, even gave away the intercept try, but I mean, he got one back. So, I mean, even at the end, the confidence, guys were bouncing, they're bouncing guys. I think there was a phase of play where the defender even, the attacking player from Ospreys even ran into, I think it was JP Smith, and fell off him himself. The confidence was high. Fenter even came in. Yeah, it's just good stuff to see, man. It's good stuff to see.
Very good.
Let's move to Stormers Ulster. This one, it's all about Stormers holding on. All about Stormers holding on. Yeah. And they manage, I suppose they managed to get the job done. They continue to, this form that they're in, they continue to get the results.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the start that they had, I think the results, they did well to earn that result at the end of the day and hold on to it, even though, there's some contentious decision-making at the end. But look, our South African teams have been on the back end of it, so I'm not even going to feel sorry, for Ulster. And good enough that the man in charge in the middle wasn't a South African, so... I think it just, again, highlights the standard or quality of refereeing in the North, unfortunately, because it seems like there's those ones that are good, and then the rest, they suspect. I'm sorry, but
there's some guys that it's like they're using the URC as a training ground for refs.
Yeah, but again, like you said, all about the Stormers, the strikes, the strikes early on, their tries as well were very good, defense orientated. I think, how they transition, they transition from, I think we spoke about it, you mentioned it in the previous episode, they transition of turnover ball from defense to attack is absolutely brilliant, and they have the strike players, and they punished Ulster. I think if you're the Stormers, you'd be a bit mad at yourself that you didn't take all the opportunities that were available, to give you that buffer to sort of ensure that you don't really have to hold on at the end. Ulster were always going to come back. And again, I think it just highlights how important it is, to take your opportunities, of which the ones that came early on, they did take, but there's others that they left on the table. But all around, they deserved it.
They kept them at bay for certain, certain periods. There were times where also were creeping back into it, but they got the penalties and sort of kept their distance. But second half, first half, like you say, that transition, Khalan, something from nothing. You've got Zas linking up. You've got Zas scoring the second try. That was Zas, but that was all about Lubbock just folding around and the timing of that.
Work off the ball.
Yeah, but then it comes to second half, and it's like all the cohesion in attack just fell apart for them. It's like they couldn't get anything going, and that's when they were forced to hold on, but got the job done. Got the job done.
Yeah, in typical Stormers fashion, they got the job done. They held on, and look, I think their second half performance, that will be concerning for them, how things didn't really, they didn't kick on.
But I think they were also guilty of trying to run it from the wrong kind of places. I mean, if you think back, there was that pass where I think Snatler got it behind his own try line and they're trying things from all over. So I think, you know, at certain stages, maybe they need to slow it down and I don't know, running from behind your own goalpost isn't ideal when you're trying to build on a lead. So, I mean, but it is what it is. Daimani saving them in the end.
Yeah, and especially against a team like Ulster, you know, with the players that they have, you know, you really, I think the first half they got it spot on, you know. I mean, defensively, that game, you know, whenever Ulster got to the Stormers 10, especially early on, you know, it was turnover ball, and that's where they got punished from. And, you know, it's almost like defensively they kept them, a lot of the game was played between the Stormers 10 and the Ulster half, and do you know, all they need to do is use the same formula. But of course, Ulster were always going to come back with an answer. You know, I think for the Stormers now, it's really a matter of figuring out how to deal with that shift in momentum. Okay, fine, they held on, they got the win. Yes, so that's a plus. But I think they need to have deliberate plans in place to be able to negotiate. To negotiate those situations and look with the roster that they've got, all the players all around, and what they've seemingly started to build and the momentum they're generating. You know, they can only be good for them if they can keep it up. That's the trick.
Yeah, let's talk about a team that couldn't keep it up. It's the Sharks losing first of the South African teams to lose at home. Sharks versus Edinburgh, wet weather, early yellow for the for future Lion Center Marius Lowe, and then I mean from there it all really fell apart.
Trash. That's what it is. It's trash. You know, you can't have a roster like that here at home. You know, you can't be albeit a one test Springbok. You can't be a Springbok and miss like really regulation kicks at goal, you know, because
in front of the poles.
You know, that's regulation. You gotta get it over. You have to get it over, you know. And look, I'm not gonna just put it on Kerr and Bosch, you know, but it stifled the momentum of the team, you know, because that was when, you know, the game was still up there for the taking, you know, to start building the scoreboard pressure, especially in those conditions, you know. But they got it all wrong. They didn't manage their possession. You know, it was ugly from the Sharks. And, you know, they've gone now from a team where, you know, it's just a matter of, okay, they just need to get it together, you know, and, you know, they can click on. But now they're going backwards. You know, the ball security, I think, on the one carry, Notch's old syndrome of, you know, when he losing the ball in contact, it reared its head again. You know, just overall, I think overall they ought to be very, very disappointed with that performance, you know, especially at home. And again, I'm going to look at the coaching staff, you know, and fine, they take off Fulming and put Buta Chamberlain in there, fullback. You know, the problem was at 10. You need to take your 10 off. You understand? And leave Fulming on. Fulming, at least from an attacking point of view, looked like he looked like there was still something in him, or there was a moment, you know, for just off the feel of the game, there was a moment, you know, before the scoreboard got away from them, and that was, I think they got it wrong, you know, from a coaching group. And yeah, I think we'll talk about the Currie Cup as well, but the problems at 10 are following them from the Currie Cup up into the URC, and it's really, it's also going to affect the whole team, you know. And just overall, they need to find that, they need to settle on guys and stick with them and build from there. Then bring in other guys. We mentioned it last week again, you know, it's easier to bring in guys on a settled team than it is to try and settle guys on a rotation, you know. So yeah, very poor from the Sharks, absolutely disappointing.
Yeah, but I mean, Edinburgh as well, we've seen they were clinical. They were very clinical and they took their chances. So I think, you know, it wasn't, I think some of the teams that came down, I mean, we'll talk about the Dragons in the next one, but some of the teams that came down aren't necessarily playing as good rugby as Edinburgh are. But I mean, still a loss, still gonna hurt.
It's still a loss, and look, Edinburgh, that's why they I think was the fifth in the table, that's why they're up there, you know what I mean? And we've seen they can play, they definitely can play. We've seen at home, they can move the ball around, and they will they can take the opportunities. I think that's the difference, or not really the difference. We've said this for I don't know how many episodes, and it's also fundamentals of the game and the opportunities are there, you have to take them, and the Sharks were just giving, it was just confetti, just to say, in wet weather, the decision making. Grant Williams, look, okay, yes, he's a youngster, he's still, perhaps not much exposure playing in such conditions, but you really have to think about the game, in terms of you can't be mauling and the maul is moving and then you want to get the ball out, or, you wanting to run the ball, or you have to be able to adapt your game. And, I think for players, especially wanting higher honors, I think that's a prerequisite, to understand the conditions, understand the game situation, and adapt your play according to the situation. And if you can't do that, this is what's going to happen to your team. Your team is going to be on the back foot and you're going to lose at home,
Yeah, let's talk Bulls Dragons. You talk about higher honors in this one. My closing question here was going to be, how close are some of these players to Bok call-ups? Because it's job done again. It's bonus point before halftime. Yeah, and it's that infectious play. Someone puts in a big hit, the next guy, he feels it, he puts in a big hit. It was even to the point where Dragons scored a try on halftime and they were celebrating like they drew level. That's the kind of attitude guys are having when they're facing the ball. So it's my question here, because it's just job done again. My question is, how close are some of these guys to Bok call-ups?
I think many of them are. If you're looking at it, I think Johan Grobler, he's been mentioned, but he's mobile. His line-out throwing is suspect. But I think it's become all of a sudden it's a problem across all our hookers, maybe except this past weekend, maybe except the Lions, but Grobler's got to be in the conversation. I think Matanzima, he's definitely, he has to be in the conversation. They locks, they have to be there. You're looking at their loose forwards, maybe Marcel and Alrechlo especially. The begins there. Ambrose is looking like he's coming back with force.
Yeah, he's climbing the ranks. He's climbing the ranks. Yeah. I mean, if we look at what it was a year ago, he's above Herschel as we speak.
Easily. And then at 10, Christmas solid enough, but I don't see it. But you never know. Look, Harold Foster, I think he previously was unlucky not to make a box squad. I think he was part of a training group, but the what he brings, to that 12 position, it's very different. He's got those options. He can put it on the boot. He's got a good feel for the game. I think Mapu.
And sorry, 13, just going back to Foster, it was even, I think it was about a week ago, Jake White said at his age, which is only I think around 28, he said he should still be in the running. He should rightfully, be given a look in and be sort of competing for those higher honors. And I'm also I'm a believer. I was a believer, like you said, when he was at the Lions. It's just, it seems like competition is heating up. Odendaal on form now as well.
So definitely, then you've got your Madosh, you've got Kirtley as well. So look, I think that Bulls team, because it's a well-structured, they're in a well-structured environment, it's winning ways, Jake White's winning ways, and they would, I think, they easily slot into Springbok setup, just purely from a performance point of view, and being able to get the result. But I think keeping it into perspective, the Dragons team wasn't necessarily the strongest, but like you said, job done. They got the job done.
What's that saying? Mark Dibella, Almo Boca. Yeah, maybe that's what we should just do. But yeah, job done again. Let's talk Curry Cup now. There was some money to be made here. There was some money to be made.
You cashed in. You cashed in? Damn, man. You cashed in?
Yeah, no, the Pumas, and it's what I said. Like, second half is where they sort of got Western Province in that chokehold and put them away. I mean, they were on it for early. They looked the more eager team, and second half they managed to put them away.
Yeah, they looked fresher and just they were more clinical. And again, true Puma spirit. When the ball's there to be moved out wide, it gets moved out wide, and the guys they punish Mafura. Like all of those guys, they had a good. That was a Pumas performance. It's typical Pumas performance. Especially when they're on song. Definitely fresher. Perhaps the bye that they were on helped. But Western Province.
Yeah, and they've shaken it up a bit. They've shaken it up. September came in. Lungisa is also playing well. So I mean, they've sort of shaken things up there a bit, and
They're quietly building good depth. The Pumas. Yeah. Actually, when you think about it, they're quietly building some good depth because in almost every position they've got two guys, that can come in and do the job. And for me, the where I'm honestly most impressed, because in the backs, you know what you're going to get from the Pumas backs, but their forwards, the ability to assert themselves and dominate the game. Yeah, Western Province is a young province side, but you'd have thought that they would have. I honestly thought at home they would have tried to build that momentum, but a lot of head scratching, a lot of
there's no cohesion in that team. That you can see those guys haven't played together a lot. It's just they're throwing players together, a few from here, a few from there, and it's just not working.
Yeah, it really isn't, So I think the Western Province have got a lot of questions to answer, for themselves, and but again, you have to take your hat off to the Pumas, away from home, getting that win. This is good for the competition, because I think if it carries on in this fashion, definitely I would really love to see Pumas and Griquas in the semis, with one of them going through to the final. And
Griquas on fire, man.
Yeah, they're hot, man. So why not, one of them challenging and winning the Curry Cup? I think that'll do absolute wonders for the competition, So yes, we have our teams that we support, but for the bigger picture of the Curry Cup in our game, I think, Pumas and Griquas, you guys can do it. Still a long way to go, but can do it.
Yeah, man. Let's talk the other team that's sort of, I think it's all W's on the board. Is Cheetah's team. Again, there was money to be made here. Another Sharks fly half disaster class vanilla, and your boys.
I mean, look, again, it's basically the same diagnosis that's in the URC. They're not settled. You would have. In the beginning, I think the energy and the vibe, with the guys that they got in, Rock Nation, all of that's going on, galvanized them, but you can't live with that alone, and it's really, it's starting to show, and especially the Cheetahs. Look, you called it definitely, my heart was, my heart, of course, because it's my team, I was always going to back the Sharks, but I knew it was going to be a tough one, and the Cheetahs, they definitely proved themselves, and every one of those Cheetahs players, they just absolutely took that game, and they owned it, they really owned it. There was no answer from the Sharks. There was no real answer. They were never in the game, as it were. Even though at stages early on in the scoreboard may have suggested differently, but on the balance of play now, they're just not there. And look, Sharks, it goes from get it together to look, we almost at panic stations, but they'll get a chance to redeem themselves.
Yeah, Mtsila with a great try there, like the little shimmy step there. And then last, yeah.
Sorry, just overall, the Cheetahs, the way that the sort of the patience that they showed, even with that game, to build on, and I think, look, especially the Cheetahs, because they've got a lot to prove as well, consider that they've been, left out like the stepchild, but and they're showing up, everybody else in the family that they're actually the golden boys, so yeah, congrats to the Cheetahs, they got to keep it going, but Sharks.
Yeah, the other one was Lions hosting the Bulls again. This one is it's the same story. It's the same story with the Lions.
Yeah,
it's the same story. Yeah. Nothing's changed. The only thing that you'll see, like players like Sasko and Clover, you see him finally get a chance, and he puts some sort of performance together. But it's like that's the only shining light for the Lions in the situation, and again, it's one of those things where you have to feel sorry for the coach.
Yeah, but again, against the Bulls team, looking at the Bulls team, because there wasn't a lot of known quantities in that Bulls team, so I believe it would have evened out the matchup. But unfortunately, the Lions, where they are, especially this Currie Cup team, and the coach, where they are on the growth and development path, they're not quite there yet, and they need to actually do something about it to try and get the wins. Otherwise, relegation is very, very real, so, yeah, like you say, it's nothing new, and, yeah, you just have to just wince at that, just hopefully they can get something happening there.
At times there were moments where you're like, okay, the Lions, sort of unknown players, are coming. Yeah. They're showing more of what they can do than the Bulls. But then you look up at the scoreboard and you're just getting dominated. So even Mornay Steyn coming off the bench, yeah, it's what are you supposed to do against that? These guys, it's just another week of Currie Cup for the Lions.
Yeah, but look, they'll get there. They'll find their way. They have to. There's no other way. You can't get any worse than what it is now. So yeah, if you're a Lions fan, you just know it's not going to get any worse than this. They're only going to get better, and these will be distant memories. It's so now, it's painful, but at least the URC team is at least easing the wounds.
Yeah, man. Hope we can contract some players, build depth like the Pumas. But yeah, any closing remarks, Chris?
No closing remarks. I think URC again. We're just looking ahead at the URC Stormers, Ospreys. I think they have a chance just to make it 4 out of 4. The Lions is going to be a test against Edinburgh, but I think they can pull it. Bulls, they're going to be tested as well. Ulster, it's a big one. Sharks, I think this one for them against the Dragons is a chance to actually put together a performance. If they fail against the Dragons, then I really don't know.
Yeah, no, if they lose against the Dragons, it's got to be now like a premiership sacking of the manager, where it's like half an hour after the game, there's an announcement.
It's not working out, it's not you, it's me.
I don't know, maybe the Sharks coaches, they need more laptops. I saw that Edinburgh coaching staff, there was just...
Hey, man. Hey, they stacked. They're on point to their analysis. Whatever it is that they're analyzing during the games, clearly it's working for them. And a credit to their setup, to come to South Africa and get the win where everybody else has been struggling. But again, the Sharks, they're in a giving mood, but then that needs to stop.
Yeah. Dummy Switchboard, thanks for watching, guys. Let's go again. Another week, some more good results. Let's go.
Let's go.